Hi everyone, this is Manoj Maheshwari from Market Ideas for Profit, and this is the 29th of Jan early morning, and I'm trying to assess the volatile move on the Nifty in the last week and the big candle that you see here in the last week that we have traveled down close to 600 points in the last week, and I would term it as the Adani candle because all the panic in the market has been created by the Hindenburg report about the stock appreciations in the Adani group and the Adani group's market cap, and how Mr. Gautam Adani has become one of the richest people in the world, and their report as to how the entire valuations were created. Anyway, that's a part of the story that's all over the news, and most of you are already aware of what's happening. So my job is to analyze what has happened on the Nifty in the chart, and using the volume profile tool that I generally use to understand the market structure and find cues as to what could happen in the coming period. So to do that, I generally divide my volume profile into various areas, and for this exercise I could identify two areas that could be distinctly used to create two volume profiles, and then assess how the relationship between the two profiles. So the first profile has been originated from the first week of August 2022 and ending from the week beginning 17th of October 2020, which could be the first phase, where we had one area which was a value area that was created based on the assessment of the market, the consensus of the market, and then we moved into a higher value area starting the 31st end of October, the week starting the November, and until the last week we were in a higher area where there was a value area that was being created and it was being played out. And subsequently, in the last week, we seem to have traveled into the lower value area again, having broken the value area of the last period and come into the previous value area, where we have taken support at the point of control of the first value area and seem to have halted whatever fall we saw in the last week. This is what has happened, and now we need to assess moving forward what can happen in the Nifty. Now we are close to the budget period, which adds to more volatility in the Indian markets because it's an annual event, and the government presents its annual projections of its collections and revenue and expenditure. So it's a much awaited moment, and this causes a huge huge range of volatility in the market in that period. So let's assess what can happen. So there are two scenarios that build in my mind. Given that this is a knee-jerk reaction to an individual stock event, which could have major repercussions, I'm not saying it could not have major repercussions on the market, but it can be said that it can be limited to the Adani news, which is not the entire market. But the main point is that if it continues to fall, it will take the banks down along with it, and which could create a bad sentiment, and which could cause a long time for things to repair for the market that we have here. But in my mind, it is something that will pass because it's too huge to fall, and the government will support in whatever way, because the majority of the holdings in the Adani companies are not in the float with the retail investors. So even if they panic, the panic is not going to set in, because it's not in the interest of the institutions to sell the stock. It's not in the interest of the major holders, which is the promoters and the LIC and the major institutions, to let the stock fall. So the fall is a technical fall, and I don't think it will create the kind of panic that it has already created in the last week. The panic seems to be over, and we should chart a course higher sooner than later. So if that is the scenario that works, then I would expect the bounce to happen in the current week, which could take us higher, back to the threshold of the top of this value area high and the bottom of the value area high of the October to Jan period. we could see some resistance here and probably take some support back into this area and then bounce back and try to test the point of control, and then probably move back again into the areas where I see the Nifty going back to its close to all-time highs in the coming weeks. This is what I favor, and this is what I think will happen in the short length of time that we in the near future. Maybe 2 to 3 months of action is what I see this moment to happen. This is the positive scenario that we can look at, and then there is a negative scenario that can also crop up if things go beyond the control of the market, and the Hindenburg reports create a negative outlook in the market, and create some panic, which I don't think will happen, but you can't rule out anything in the market. So in that case, we could probably travel down and test a daily gap area that was created in the Nifty. I will go to the daily chart and show you how this daily area was created. We could then creep higher from here and then go on to test our either it could go high and test back the value area high and then go back and start rotating within this area. This could be the second scenario. I don't see a breakdown beyond the 17,150 to 200 levels in the coming period, but yes, we could creep and create some consolidation in this value area once again. This could be the second scenario that I'm talking about. So I'm not looking at a breakdown in Nifty beyond the 17,000 area, but because I see a lot of support in these areas, and we could see some support creeping back at the 17,000 level, even if it falls to the value area low of the last period. But I see it then ranging between these two periods and these two levels, the 17,100 and 17,800 range, and then as and when it decides to break the 17,800 range, we could creep back into the value area at the higher level and then chart our course to the high points of the Nifty. So these are the two scenarios I think that can transpire in the markets in the coming weeks. My personal assessment is that we are going to go higher, but yes, I can be proven wrong, and I reserve the right to be wrong. And I hope this gives you a context of what the current situation in the market is and what are the moves that can happen in the next few weeks. If this adds value to your understanding and your assessment of how you could plan your trades and your moves in the market, do give this video a like and subscribe to the channel, because I keep on posting such videos at critical levels when I see that the market reactions could help people understand how to plan their trades. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you.